Hi students, welcome to RVS Physics classes. All of you are aware, in this academic year, first phase of G mains examinations are already over. In the month of January 2020, they were conducted on 3 days, 7th, 8th and 9th of January, 2 shifts on each day, means total 6 papers we have already. तो इस साल अभी तक जो जी मेंस का एग्जाम्स फर्स्ट फेज का हुए हैं उसका हमारे पास अभी 6 पेपर है. एज ए पार्ट ऑफ सिग्निफिकेंट पार्ट ऑफ प्रिपरेशन फॉर द नेक्स्ट फेज ऑफ जी मेंस एग्जामिनेशंस, एटलीस्ट एवरी स्टूडेंट शुड कंप्लीटली वर्कआउट ऑल दी 6 पेपर्स. ये 6 पेपर आप पूरा बना देंगे तो आपका कॉन्फिडेंस अच्छा बढ़ जाएगा नेक्स्ट फेज ऑफ एग्जामिनेशंस लेने के लिए. इसके दौरान आपको नेक्स्ट फेज ऑफ एग्जामिनेशन में अच्छा परसेंटेज और पाने का प्रोबेबिलिटी बढ़ जाती है. सो एज ए सिग्निफिकेंट पार्ट ऑफ प्रिपरेशन हमको ये 6 पेपर पूरा बनाना पड़ेगा. सो इन दिस वीडियो नाउ आई एम गोइंग टू कवर 7th January 2020 फर्स्ट शिफ्ट, दैट मीन्स मॉर्निंग पेपर, सुबह का पेपर, उसमें का 25 फिजिक्स क्वेश्चंस जो है वो अभी हम डिस्कस करेंगे. पेपर का डिस्कशन शुरू करने से पहले मैं एक जरूरी चीज आपको बताना चाहता हूं. सबसे पहले आपको 5-10 मिनट समय देके पूरा पेपर का एक कर्सरी ग्लैंस छानबीन करना पड़ेगा. यू शुड गिव ए कर्सरी ग्लैंस फॉर ऑल द क्वेश्चंस. इससे फायदा क्या है, कौन सा क्वेश्चन बहुत आसान है या आपको अच्छे से मालूम है, आपका प्रैक्टिस किया हुआ मॉडल्स में है, आप बना सकते हैं, वो आप आइडेंटिफाई कर सकते हैं. तो आइडेंटिफाइंग द करेक्ट क्वेश्चन फॉर आंसरिंग, दैट इज आल्सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. असल में क्या होता है, मान लो आप पहला क्वेश्चन जो है फिजिक्स में सी सेक्शन चालू करने के बाद पहला क्वेश्चन आप ले लिया, उसको पढ़ लिया, बनाने चालू किए. मान लो अगर वो टफ क्वेश्चन निकल गया तो पूरा आपका मूड खराब हो जाएगा, टाइम वेस्ट हो जाएगा, आंसर भी हो सकता है बनेगा या नहीं बनेगा, कुछ बता नहीं सकता. इसलिए सबसे पहले क्वेश्चन से चालू करके एकदम शुरू करने से बजाय आपको क्या करना है, पहले एक छानबीन करना पड़ेगा. उसमें आइडेंटिफाई करना पड़ेगा कौन सा क्वेश्चन आसान क्वेश्चन से किसको मैं बना सकता हूं. वो आइडेंटिफाई करने के बाद अगर आप करेंगे तो आपका बाकी का टाइम जो है बहुत अच्छा यूटिलाइज होगा. सो इसमें आपको ध्यान देना पड़ेगा. सो इसी हिसाब से मैं ये पेपर्स का अभी जो डिस्कशन भी जो है उसी हिसाब से आपको दूंगा इस वीडियो में. मतलब आई हैव गिवन a detailed analysis to this paper, 7th January पेपर, मॉर्निंग पेपर. उसमें से मैंने आइडेंटिफाई किया 11 इजी क्वेश्चंस है, 6 to 7 मॉडरेट क्वेश्चंस है, बाकी 7 to 8 डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चंस है. तो पहले मैं इजी क्वेश्चंस जो है वो डिस्कस करूंगा ताकि आपका कॉन्फिडेंस बढ़े, हौसला बुलंद हो और मतलब फिजिक्स भी आप बना सकते हैं. इनफैक्ट वेरी इजी क्वेश्चंस, almost 10 to 11 questions are very easy. So उससे हम शुरू करते हैं ये पेपर को. A 60 HP electric motor lifts an elevator having a maximum total load capacity of 2000 kg. If the frictional force on the elevator is 4000 newtons, the speed of the elevator at full load is close to 1 HP is equal to 746 watts given, value of G given as 10 meters per second square. So this is a problem from work energy power 11th class chapter. In fact, it is very easy question. If you note the power equation, how to calculate the power, easily you can solve this problem. Here the total load is also constant and it is supposed to move with a uniform velocity at the full load. So simply the power formula what we know is power P is equal to dot product of force and velocity. But here since force is also a constant value at the full load and velocity is also uniform and they are in a linear direction, so simply you can take this formula, the magnitude of power is equal to force into velocity. Means that cos theta value magnitude becomes 1 in this case. Now power is given as 60 HP, but convert into SI units. It is also given 1 HP is equal to 746 watts. 746 watts. And what is this force? Force means it is the total load of the lift along with all its passenger. What here given as total load capacity, that is 2000 kg. And when the lift is moving, there will be a lot of moving parts, so friction will be there. That overall friction value is also given at full load. The friction value is given as 4000 newtons. That means the total load 2000 kg mass into G, that is the weight of the lift with the load, plus the friction force is given as 4000 newtons. So now this comes to 2000 into 10, 20,000 plus 4000, 24,000 newtons. But here we also have to write the velocity V into V. So from this you can easily calculate the velocity value. V is equal to 60 into 746 by 24,000. You simplify this, you will get something like 1.865, and the nearest option is given as 1.9 meters per second. See how easy question is. अगला question देखिए. Consider a circular coil of wire carrying constant current I, forming a magnetic dipole. The magnetic flux through an infinite plane that contains the circular coil and excluding the circular coil area is given by phi I, means inward, incoming flux. The magnetic flux through the area of the circular coil area is given by phi naught, that means outgoing flux. Which of the following option is correct? The incoming flux and outgoing flux का comparison दिया है options में. ये क्या है देखिए देखिए. This is a circular coil of wire carrying a current I. Direction not specified. Let us take some direction, either clockwise or anti-clockwise, anything we can take. So let us write the clockwise sense. Now what is given that this circular coil, maybe some terms are also there having this current, is kept in an infinite plane. Consider this board as the infinite plane. Now it is given that the magnetic flux entering or the associated with the infinite plane excluding the area of the coil is phi I, and the magnetic flux associated with the coil area is phi naught. Now we have to find the relation between these two. As you know, if we apply the Ampere's law for this wire, current is going in this direction, then curl your fingers along the wire, then your fingers are going inside, inward, inside the coil. So here the flux direction is cross, means inward flux everywhere here. Whereas your fingers are coming out, outside the wire area. That means this infinite plate area, excluding the wire area, the magnetic field direction is outward, dot, everywhere. But you see here, everywhere you see this like this, the magnetic field forms a closed loop like this. Means whatever flux is entering inside here, the same flux is coming out here. Again, same flux entering here, same flux coming out here. That means the total flux entering inside the coil area is equal to the total flux coming out of the infinite plane area excluding the coil area. So simply we can, by seeing this, we can write the relation that phi I is equal to phi out, phi naught in magnitude, but one is inward flux, the other is outward flux. So we should put a minus sign somewhere. So the correct option is phi I is equal to minus of phi naught. It is that simple. Only interpretation, no calculations also. So in fact, by देखते ही आप इसकी आंसर बना सकते हैं. मतलब देखते ही आप ऑप्शन इसको मार्क कर सकते हैं. The next question, it is from current electricity. The current I1 flowing through 1 ohm resistor in the following circuit is. A small circuit of series parallel combination of resistors is given. I'll just write for you. Look here. Here, two 1 ohm resistors are connected in parallel. That parallel branch is in turn connected to another resistor of 2 ohms in series, and there is another parallel branch containing a 2 ohm resistor, and for these two branches a source of EMF 1 volt is connected like this. Now you see, this is a parallel branch, this entire thing is a parallel branch. So these two parallel branches both will have the potential drop of 1 volt because this 1 volt source is connected parallel to both of these. So now we have to calculate the current through this 1 ohm resistor. Let it be I. If this is I, this is also I. Why? Because both resistors values are same and they are connected parallel. So whatever current comes here, say I1, gets divided into I and I, where this I plus I is equal to I1. Okay. Now to calculate this current I1, let us apply the Ohm's law for this upper branch. So in the upper branch, the current I1 is given by the potential drop for the entire branch, let us say V, by the resistance of this upper branch, effective resistance, R effective. V, as you know, it is 1 volt. For this branch also 1 volt, for this branch also 1 volt. So V is equal to 1 volt. Now R effective. To calculate the effective resistance of the upper branch, two resistors of 1 ohm connected in parallel. So their effective resistance is 1 parallel 1 gives half, 0.5 ohms. And that 0.5 ohms is in turn connected to 2 ohms in series. So the effective resistance R effective is, if you want to write it like this, 1 parallel 1 series with 2 ohms. So it is half ohm in series with 2 ohms. So it is 2.5 ohms. From this, current I1 is equal to 1 by 2.5 amperes. So now this current gets divided. So the value of current I through each 1 ohm resistor is half of this I1. That is half of this 1 by 2.5. 1 by 5, that is 0.2 amperes. So this is your correct answer. Okay. Look at the next question. 2 moles of an ideal gas with Cp by Cv is equal to 5 by 3 are mixed with 3 moles of another ideal gas with Cp by Cv is equal to 4 by 3. The value of Cp by Cv for the mixture is. This question is from kinetic theory of gases, that thermodynamics and kinetic theory of gases concepts. It is also very easy question. In fact, देखते ही हम इसका आंसर बना सकते हैं, but let us first do it in a procedural manner. So it is given that there are two gases which are mixed, gas 1 and gas 2. For gas 1, the Cp by Cv value, that means gamma value, is given as 5 by 3. For gas 2, the same gamma value is given as 4 by 3. So from the gamma value, we can find the Cv value, like Cv1 is equal to R by gamma minus 1, that is R by 5 by 3 minus 1, that is 2 by 3, so 3R by 2. Now from this we can calculate Cp value, Cv plus R from Mayer's relation. So this plus R will give you 5R by 2. So for the first gas we found out Cv and Cp. Similarly we can find the Cp and Cv value for the second gas. Cv2 is equal to R by gamma 2 minus 1, that is R by 4 by 3 minus 1. So you will get 3R. And Cp, Cv plus R, so 3R plus R is 4R. So now we have the Cv value, Cp value for both the gases and a number of moles, N1. First gas, number of moles are given as 2 moles. And second gas, number of moles are given as 3 moles. So with this data, we can easily find the gamma for the mixture. Gamma for the mixture is equal to Cp mixture by Cv mixture. And in turn, how you are going to calculate Cp mixture and Cv mixture? It is from the relation N1 Cp1 plus N2 Cp2 by N1 plus N2 by, I just write it for you, N1 Cp1 plus N2 Cp2 by N1 plus N2. This is the Cp of the mixture by Cv of the mixture. Similarly, N1 Cv1 plus N2 Cv2 by N1 plus N2. This N1 plus N2 gets cancelled. Now we can directly substitute the values. N1 is 2 moles, Cp1 is 5R by 2 plus N2 is 3 moles, Cp2 is 4R by N1 again 2 moles, Cv is 3R by 2 plus N2 is 3 moles and Cv2 is 3R. This will give you 2 and 2 cancel, 5R plus 3 4 are 12R, that is 17R by, this is 3R plus 9R, that is 13R. So its value is 17 by 13. If you convert into decimals, you get something like 1.42. The correct option is 1.42. So this kind of problems, in fact, we can also directly, find out by looking at this 5/3 value. We come to know that this is a monoatomic gas. The gamma value 5/3, and similarly this is triatomic gas. So for a monoatomic gas, we know the CV value is 3R/2, CP value is 5R/2. For a triatomic gas, CV value is 3R and CP value is 4R. So this entire calculation can be avoided if you can directly remember that, recall from your knowledge bank that this, by looking at this gamma value, what kind of monoatomicity of the gas is. Okay, अगला क्वेश्चन देखिए. Speed of a transverse wave on a straight wire, mass 6 grams and length 60 centimeters, area of cross section 1 mm square is 90 meters per second. If the Young's modulus of the wire is 16 into 10 to the power of 11 Newton per meter square, the extension of wire or its natural length is. Again, this question is from waves lesson and very easy question, strings, application of strings. Only two formula we have to recall. The speed of a transverse wave on a string is given by root over T by mu, where T is the tension in the string and mu is the linear mass density. And the other formula what we have to recall here is from the mechanical properties of solids. उसमें extension का एक formula रहता है. Extension is equal to FL by AY. F is the force, L is the length of the wire, A is the area of cross section of the wire, and Y is the Young's modulus. ये दोनों formula आपको मालूम होगा, तो ये problem एक मिनट के अंदर बना सकते हैं. Let us see. The linear mass density mu is given by total mass by total length. Total mass given as 6 grams. So 6 into 10 to the power of minus 3 kg. Total length is given as 60 centimeters. So 60 into 10 to the power of minus 2 meters. I am converting everything into SI units. So this will give you 1 by 100 kg per meter linear mass density. And with the help of this, we can find, and velocity is given as how much? 90 meters per second. We know that velocity is equal to root over T by mu. Square on both sides, V square is equal to T by mu. Therefore, T, the tension in the string, is given by mu into V square. Mu is 1 by 100. Velocity is 90 meters per second, so 90 into 90. So this gives you 81 newtons. So this is the force in the string. So now we got the force, we have the length, we have the cross section area. Young's modulus is also given. So easily you can find the extension in the string, that is FL by AY. That F is nothing but the tension in the string, 81 newtons. And length is 60 centimeters, 60 into 10 to the power of minus 2. And area of cross section is given as 1 mm square. So that is 1 into 10 to the power of minus 6 meter square. And Young's modulus is given as 16 into 10 to the power of 11 SI units. Simply, this comes to 30.4 into 10 to the power of minus 6 meters. But the answer is given in mm. So it is 30.4 into 10 to the power of minus 3 mm. If you convert into decimals, it is 0.0304 mm. The nearest answer given is 0.03 mm. So this is your correct answer. Very easy question here. It is from center of mass, system of particles chapter. 3 point particles of masses 1 kg, 1.5 kg, 2.5 kg are placed at 3 corners of a right angle triangle of sides 4 centimeters, 3 centimeters and 5 centimeters as shown in the figure. The center of mass of the system is at a point. By looking at the options, the reference is taken as the 1 kg mass. Means with respect to the 1 kg mass, we have to find the x coordinate and y coordinate of the center of mass. Very easy question. So let us first just mark the coordinates of the masses. It is a right angle triangle. Here 1 kg mass. This is 1.5 kg mass at 2.5 kg mass. It is given in the diagram like this. Now the distances are given like this. This is 3 centimeters, this is 4 centimeters, and this is 5 centimeters. So with respect to 1 kg mass, we have to find the center of mass. So let us make the coordinate to the 1 kg mass at the origin. That means here 1 kg coordinates 0, 0. Now 1.5 kg another mass, second mass M2. Its coordinates are x coordinate 3 centimeters, y coordinate 0. And the third mass is 2.5 kg. It is on the y axis, so its x coordinate is 0 and y coordinate is 4 centimeters. So now from this you can easily calculate the coordinates of the center of mass. X coordinate is given by sigma of mx by sigma of m. That means m1x1 plus m2x2 plus m3x3 by m1 plus m2 plus m3. m1 x1 1 into 0, m2 x2 1.5 into 3, m3 x3 2.5 into 0 by m1 plus m2 plus m3. So this 0 and 0, this is 4.5 by 4 plus 1, 5. So this is 0.9 centimeters. This is the x coordinate of the center of mass. Now let us see the y coordinate of the center of mass in the same manner. Sigma of my by sigma of m. I directly substitute. m1 y1 1 into 0 0 that's m2 y2 1.5 into 0 again 0, m3 y3 2.5 into 4 is 10 by again 1 plus 1.5 plus 2.5 comes to 5. So it is 2 centimeters. That means the coordinates of the center of mass in this case are 0.9 towards right of the 1 kg and 2 centimeters above the 1 kg. The correct option is here 0.9 centimeters right and 2 centimeters above 1 kg mass. Very easy question. अगला क्वेश्चन देखिए. It is from electromagnetic waves. If the magnetic field in a plane electromagnetic wave is given by B is equal to magnetic field equation is given as 3 into 10 to the power of minus 8 sine 1.6 into 10 cube x plus 48 into 10 to the power of 10 t J cap Tesla. Then what will be the expression for electric field? So in a EM wave, magnetic field equation is given. You have to find the electric field equation. Let us recall the basics of the electromagnetic wave. In an electromagnetic wave, both electric field and magnetic field will be present, and they will be oscillating in two planes which are mutually perpendicular to each other. Means, for example, in this plane, electric field is oscillating. In a perpendicular plane, magnetic field will be oscillating. But the wave itself will be traveling in a direction perpendicular to both electric field also, magnetic field also. That means this is the magnetic field oscillation, this is the electric field oscillation, whereas the wave itself keep on going perpendicular to both E bar and B bar, electric field and magnetic field. Now, the magnetic field equation is given here. B bar is equal to 3 into 10 to the power of minus 8 sine 1.6 into 10 cube x plus 48 into 10 to the power of 10 t, and this is J cap. So from this we can first find the amplitude of the electric field, that is E naught. Here B naught is this one, 3 into 10 power minus 8, means the amplitude of the magnetic field. So amplitude of magnetic field and electric field are related like this. We already know this. E naught by B naught is equal to C. So from this, E naught is equal to C B naught. C, what is C? Speed of light, that is 3 into 10 to the power of 8, and B naught is 3 into 10 power minus 8. So this comes to 9. Sometimes surprising things do happen. Instead of continuously solving for the equation, just look at the options. Here there is only one option which is having an amplitude of 9. All the other, for example, first option the amplitude is 3 into 10 power minus 8, second option the amplitude is 9, third option the amplitude is 60, and fourth option the amplitude is 3 into 10 power minus 8 again. So here itself we can directly mark the answer. But as a procedure, we should know how to completely write the equation of the electric field. We'll look at it. But sometimes to save time, this kind of tricks and smart work we have to do in the paper while solving the papers. So now this electric field amplitude we got. We can write the electric field equation like this. E is equal to E naught sine 1.6 into 10 cube x plus 48 into 10 power 10 t. Up to here no change, because both for the magnetic field oscillation, electric field oscillation, wave propagation is same. So this quantity omega x kx plus omega t, this gives the propagation of the wave direction. So this is same for both electric field and magnetic field. So in the magnetic field, whatever is there after the sine or cosine function, same thing will come here also. That is first rule to write the equations relatively between V bar and E bar. Next, how to find the amplitude? We already seen this. So we can write this equation now like this: 9 sine 1.6 into 10 cube x plus 48 into 10 power 10 t. Now what is left over? We have to specify here whether this electric field is k cap or I cap, because all three are mutually perpendicular to each other. We know that. Already B bar is in J cap. So E bar can be either in I cap or K cap. But here already wave is propagating, wave parameters are given with x. That means wave is propagating in x direction, that is I cap. So E cannot go into I cap. So left over is K cap. So only we can write it here as K cap. And one more doubt may come, whether it is K cap or minus K cap. If you want to find that also, you should know the Ponting vector equation. This is the wave velocity and electric field and magnetic field are related like this. Velocity, wave velocity cap is equal to E cap cross B cap. Here what is the direction of wave? It is x, that means I cap, and there is a plus sign here, so it is minus I cap. If there is a minus sign here, then it will be propagating in the positive x direction, we'll get I cap. Because there is a plus sign here between the kx term and the omega t term, from the wave basis, we come to know that this wave is propagating towards negative x direction. So that means V cap is in minus I cap. We want to find the E cap. B cap already it is given as J cap. So what is the proper thing here to write it here? Minus I cap means naturally we should write it here as only K cap. Then K cross J, you will get minus I cap. So the correct option here is 9 sine this expression times K cap. Okay. In fact, we can avoid everything. Only by looking at this 9, we could mark the. Look at the next question. It is from semiconductors logic gates. Which of the following gives a reversible operation? In the four options, 4 different gates are given, and we have to find out which gate will give you a reversible operation. Reversible operation means क्या है? नॉट गेट है, मतलब उसका इनपुट अगर हाई होगा तो आउटपुट लो होना चाहिए, इनपुट लो होगा तो आउटपुट हाई होना चाहिए. तो नॉट गेट 2 इनपुट के साथ अगर देना है तो जहां पे सिंगल इनपुट आर गेट है जिसका नॉट किया, फिर मतलब सिंगल इनपुट नॉट गेट, वो डायरेक्टली हमको रिवर्सिबल ऑपरेशन देता है. कैसे देखते हैं जरा देखिए. ऑप्शन 3 में वन नॉट गेट इज गिवन and the input is shorted, single input. So here, suppose if you give an input 1, the same 1 is distributed like 2, 1 and 1. So 1 and 1, OR gate will give you 1 and NOR gate will give you 0. Suppose you give a 0 input, so here also 0 and 0. So OR gate will give you a 0, but NOR gate will give you 1. Means for an input of 1, output is 0. For input of 0, output is 1. So this is a reversible operation. This gate is giving a reversible operation. This is a single input NOR gate. Okay. Directly you can mark the answer. देखिए. Particle m is equal to 1 kg slides down a frictionless track AOC, starting from rest at a point A, height 2 meters. After reaching C, the particle continues to move freely in air as a projectile. When it reaching its highest point P, height 1 meter, the kinetic energy of the particle in joules is. Figure is drawn not to scale. Take G value as 10 meters per second scale. This is again from work energy power, law of conservation of energy based, very easy question, बहुत आसानी से बना सकते हैं आप. देखिए, there is a frictionless track A O C and the point A is at a height of 2 meters, it is given. So from here a particle of mass m is released from rest. That means here it is having only potential energy, no kinetic energy. And on the frictionless track it comes like this and it rages on the other track, but here the height is less, so it will jump into the air like a projectile. ये हवा में छलांग मारेगा यहाँ से ऐसा. And in its trajectory it will reach its highest point. The highest point P is given that the height is 1 meters. So now it is being asked at this point P, what is the kinetic energy of the particle? Kinetic energy of the particle at point P. So here directly we can write law of conservation of energy between point A and point P. By law of conservation of energy, total energy at A is equal to total energy at P. Total energy means PE plus KE at A is equal to PE at P, KE at P. Potential energy at point A is mgh. H is 2 meters. And kinetic energy at A starts from rest, so velocity 0 here, so no kinetic energy. Whereas at point P, H is only 1 meter, plus it will have the kinetic energy. So only we have to find this kinetic energy at point P. Substitute the data. It is a 1 kg mass, G value 10, 1 into 10 into 2, 20, equal to 1 into 10 into 1, 10, plus kinetic energy at point P. So from this we can write kinetic energy at point P is 20 minus 10, that is 10 joules. So this is your correct answer. But you know, this question is given in the numerical answer type question. So the answer you should report in the proper format. In all the numerical answer type questions, the answer format is like this. Before decimal 4 digits, after decimal 2 digits. So this answer should be reported like 0010.00. So this is your type. A non-isotropic solid metal cube has coefficients of linear expansion as 5 into 10 to the power of minus 5 per degree Celsius along the x-axis and 5 into 10 to the power of minus 6 per degree Celsius along the y-axis and z-axis. If the coefficient of volume expansion of the solid is C into 10 to the power of minus 6 per degree Celsius, then the value of C is. Again, this is also a numerical value type question. So this is from the thermal properties of the materials. As you know, the volume coefficient of expansion gamma generally for an isotropic material can be written as 3 alpha. What is isotropic? Having same properties in all directions. So its expansion is same in all the x-axis, y-axis, z-axis. So expansion is same. But in this problem, the expansion coefficients are differently given along x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. That means it is an anisotropic material. So in that case, we write gamma is equal to alpha in x direction, alpha in y direction, alpha in z direction. It is as simple as that. That's all. We got the answer. It is given that alpha in x direction is 5 into 10 to the power of minus 5. Alpha in y direction and z direction both are same, and the value is 5 into 10 to the power of minus 6. So we'll make it 2 into 5 into 10 to the power of minus 6. So this is 5 into 10 to the power of minus 5 plus 2 into 5 is 10. 10 into 10 power minus 6 is 10 power minus 5. So this will give you 5 plus 1, 6 into 10 power minus 5. But here it is reported as C into 10 power minus 6. So write it into 10 power minus 6 in the format 60 into 10 power minus 6. Compare with C into 10 power minus 6. You got the value of C as 60. That means your correct format of answer is 0060.00. वेरी इजी क्वेश्चन है ना। अगला क्वेश्चन देखिए, ये थर्मोडायनेमिक्स से एप्लीकेशन ऑफ सेकंड ऑफ थर्मोडायनेमिक्स फ्रॉम हीट इंजन, कैरनॉट इंजन। A Carnot engine operates between two reservoirs of temperatures 900 Kelvin and 300 Kelvin. The engine performs 1200 joules of work per cycle. The heat energy delivered by the engine to the low temperature reservoir in a cycle is. Here, let us quickly recall the Carnot engine. This is high temperature source. The heat engine draws heat from the high temperature source, that is represented as Q1, and it performs some work and rejects some heat to a low temperature sink. So this rejected heat generally we denote with the letter Q2. And as it is given that it is a Carnot engine, so the efficiency formula we can write like this. Efficiency is equal to 1 minus T2 by T1 in terms of temperatures. Same thing can be written as work done by heat input, Q1. Now we can compare these two, substitute the data, you will get the required answer. What actually we have to find here? The amount of heat that is transferred and delivered to the low temperature reservoir, that is sink. Means we have to find Q2, not Q1. So here another relation we can draw. Q1 minus Q2 is nothing but the work done. So wherever Q1 is there, you can also write W plus Q2, directly you will get the answer. See. 1 minus T2 by T1 is equal to W by W plus Q2. That is 1 minus T2 is given as 300, T1 is given as 900 Kelvin. 300 by 900 is equal to W by W plus Q2. This is 3 by 9 is 1 by 3, 1 minus 1 by 3 is 2 by 3. So 2 by 3 is equal to W work is given as 1200 joules. 1200 by 1200 plus Q2. If you solve this, you will get Q2 is equal to 600 joules. So your correct answer representation is 0600.00. This is the numerical value type. Question, another easy question, है ना?